An excerpt from the book Where Keynes Went Wrong by Hunter Lewis. Keynes. It is sometimes alleged that economic crises, recessions, and depressions serve a useful purpose. This is false. Keynes is aware that booms bring some misdirected investment and that slumps may help get rid of a lot of dead wood. But even misdirected investment is better than no investment at all. It is a serious error to think that slumps are in some sense necessary to economic progress, either because of their purgative role or because they moderate speculation and reckless risk-taking by introducing an element of fear. On the contrary, as we have seen, we should abolish slumps and instead seek to maintain a perpetual quasi-boom. Comment from Lewis. The attempt to abolish economic contractions is mistaken. There are times when we need them. We touched briefly on this subject in our earlier discussion of interest rates, but we now need to delve more deeply into it. Are recessions unnecessary? Can we abolish them entirely? No. We have already paid a heavy price for trying to do so. Alan Greenspan, chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve, agreed with Keynes that recession should be eliminated and resolved to do so. When a mild recession came anyway after the collapse of the dot-com bubble in 2000, the minutes of the Federal Reserve reveal that he deliberately sought to persuade the consumer to borrow more. The argument seemed to be that any deeper or longer recession in a country so encumbered by debt would lead to large-scale debtor bankruptcy. To deal with this problem of too much debt, much of it bad, even more debt had to be created. If the Fed had allowed a real recession to follow the dot-com madness, the investment mistakes of the 1990s might have been fully liquidated. Assets would have passed from weaker to stronger hands through fire sale prices and been redeployed along more rational lines. Bad debt would have been written off and the decks cleared for future growth, much as had happened after the collapse of the great inflation in the early 1980s. Instead, total debt in the U.S. just ballooned from 2.8 times gross domestic product in 2000 to 3.7 times by the end of 2008. Bad debt was piled on bad debt and poor investment on poor investment. A real recession in 2000 and 2001 would have been painful. It would nevertheless have spared the U.S. the much greater pain that came with the crash of 2008. Following the crash of 2008, first the Bush and then the Obama administration again sought to stop the pain by rescuing, and if possible, reviving, the failed paradigm of borrow and misspend. Each tried to prevent debt liquidation, to hold up business asset prices, to prevent assets from passing from weak hands to strong hands. As in Japan following the bubble of the 1980s, the result was to freeze the economy in another world, neither dead nor alive, to create zombie banks and companies, to prevent needed liquidations and adjustments. To the degree that any of this succeeded, the likely result was at best yet another postponement of pain, with a greater and even harsher reckoning to come in the end.